New East Texas Baptist University head football coach Joshua Eargle has been coaching for over 10 years and faced his share of adversity on the field. But in the past year, Eargle faced the toughest challenge of his life off the field. Eargle and his wife Kristen's second daughter Landry was born with complications stemming from a hole in her heart. Here's their special story of triumph and overcoming the odds.
I'm so proud of you, Landry. Landry's breathing on her own for the first time.
Landry Hope Eargle took her first breath off the ventilator 1 week after she was born. The daughter of East Texas Baptist University new head football coach Joshua Eargle was destined to be a fighter, like her father's ambitious personality. But the Eargles didn't realize just how much.
People always tell you that God never gives you anything more than you can handle. And if we would have known the end result of what we went through with Landry Hope, then it would have been more we could handle.
Eargle and his wife Kristen were expecting baby girl number 2 when doctors noticed complications in an ultrasound. Worst case scenario, Landry could die while Kristen was pregnant or after childbirth, but as the pregnancy went on, the doctors realized she had a massive hole in her heart.
When you hear those words, that'll take you down. But it was a little bit further, more complicated than just a massive hole. We didn't know exactly what it was. And still towards the end of the pregnancy, things kind of got a little bit more complicated.
Landry was born September 7th, 6 weeks before her due date, weighing 3 pounds and 14 ounces. 7.5 weeks in the hospital passed as little Landry fought for her life. Finally, she was ready for her open heart surgery to repair the hole. The procedure was a success, but the next 9 days nearly broke the family.
She almost passed away 4 times right after surgery, and that will tear you up as a mom. And the doctor met me halfway down, and the cardiologist standing out their door, just tons of doctors. The whole floor was in her room, and that's when I knew something's really wrong. And I walk up to the bed, and they had to medically paralyze her. She coded. And I asked the nurse, can she hear me? And she said, yes, she can hear you. I'm thinking, how? But I just leaned over and I just said, by Jesus' stripes, you are healed. And Landry Hope Eargle, you will live. And she did. She lived.
10 days after surgery, Landry Hope, which appropriately means ruler of hope, was finally able to breathe off of a ventilator again.
And she just taking these big, dramatic breaths, fighting and struggling, and at that moment I thought, I've taken it for granted so much just to breathe.
During her 73-day stay at the hospital, Landry received a bead for every procedure she went through, developing quite the reputation as a firecracker.
She's a fighter, and they told me at Baylor and Children's that they really had never seen such a feisty little baby. And that's a huge thing. I thought, you see babies over and over.
While Kristen stood by Landry's side every day in the hospital, Joshua was right in the middle of football season at Southeastern Oklahoma State.
To my wife's credit, we have grown closer through this trial, through this circumstance. And I wouldn't have thought that at the beginning, but our marriage is stronger today after going through what we did with Landry.
A lot of people typically give the mom a lot of credit. Oh, you're strong, you've held it together. He was my rock, kind of refused to lose. And he's a great motivator, and he motivated me to stand by her side. I couldn't have done it without him. He's a very strong person.
The Eargles took Landry home on November 18th, and doctors say she'll lead a normal life. Meanwhile, Coach Eargle's 10-pound baby girl has taught him what it really means to be a fighter.
And that kid is the ultimate fighter. I've never met one stronger. Of course, going through a personal journey like that, you can't help but have that on your mind all the time. And I can't tell you how many tubes, there were 7 or 8 tubes coming out of that little girl. And to see her fighting through that gave me great strength. And in a pregame talk, it actually gave my team great strength.
And it's only made him a better coach.
The game of football is obviously a microcosm of life, and there are so many things that happen in the course of the game that present adversity. And so we want to show that, hey, that mountain's not too big to climb over.
The Urgels received great news at Landry's last appointment with the cardiologist. She's on a 2-month decrease program for all of her life-saving medication, and they feel like they've really turned the corner. And so has Coach Urgel, who's been already hitting the ground running at ETBU, getting ready for the 2013 season. If you want to learn more about Landry's story, Kristen blogged during the entire journey. You can check that out at rulerofhope.blogspot.com. And of course, I want to personally thank the Urgel family for allowing me to share their story. You know, I think it's a great fit that he got. You know, he's now the new head coach at East Texas Baptist, and they're obviously been through a whole lot, but they're excited to start their new life in Marshall. He actually was a coach in Hallsville, which of course is one of our schools that we cover all the time. He coached in Hallsville, and so they're excited. They're calling East Texas, you know, a new start to their next chapter in life.
Perfect.
As well as they feel at home in East Texas.
I'll have to go to that blog because I am in love with this family. I'll have to keep up to date
and
with
they
them.
do have an older daughter, Courtney, who, you know, the picture you saw of them crying, which is so cute. It's the first time.
Adorable.
I know, it's the first time they met, and it was adorable. But they actually couldn't really meet until after she was released from the hospital. They won't let babies in the NICU. So that was the reaction. They both cried at the same time.
Love it. All right. Thank you so much, Tatum.